Okay, so let's dive into this. When you think about trading, the headlines, they often shout about the excitement, right? The big wins, the fast action.
Mhm.
But the source material we're looking at today kind of pulls back the curtain. It shows the relentless stress involved.
Yeah, the reality behind the hype, the volatility, the pressure of making decisions like now.
Exactly. And that emotional roller coaster,
Yeah.
you know, driven by fear one minute, greed the next. It's uh it's a real psychological battleground.
It really is. Almost seems designed to crank up anxiety, doesn't it? So much data, things changing instantly, high stakes.
Totally. And your own state of mind isn't just some side issue, it's actually central to how well you perform.
Which is what makes this source so interesting. It's this personal story from a trader named Manish.
Right.
And it's about how he found a way through all that internal noise, how he managed to find a calm in the middle of the trading storm.
And what's really fascinating, his fix wasn't some fancy new trading strategy or like a secret indicator.
No, it was much more fundamental, personal, really.
He brought mindfulness practices, specifically meditation, right into his daily trading life.
Exactly. And this deep dive is all about exploring that shift he made, how it really transformed his whole game in the markets.
He talks about several key areas where meditation wasn't just like, oh, this helps me relax a bit.
No, it became a core tool, something that actually impacted his results, his bottom line, and frankly, his well-being too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
One of the first things he points to is this really noticeable improvement in his focus, his concentration.
Which is huge in trading. Think about a typical trading setup.
Oh, yeah. Screens flashing, news alerts popping up, charts constantly moving. It's like it's built to fracture your attention.
Right. And Manish found meditation helped him train his mind to consciously choose where to put that attention.
So instead of getting yanked around by every little price tick or random thought,
He could anchor himself. Focus on the key trends, the data that actually mattered for his strategy, not just reacting impulsively.
that ability to direct your focus, especially when things are going wild, that's incredibly valuable.
He puts it nicely. It wasn't about blocking everything out, more like observing the noise without getting, swept away by it.
Seeing the flashing lights, feeling the market jump, but keeping enough mental space to focus just on what's relevant right then.
Mm-hmm. And that connects directly to the next point he makes about mastering emotional regulation.
Ah, yes, the emotions. Trading is just drenched in them.
Totally. FOMO, fear of missing out, or panic when the market tanks, or getting giddy during a rally. These feelings can just hijack your thinking.
So what did meditation do there?
Well, Manish explains he learned to actually recognize these emotions as they started bubbling up, like
Yeah.
feeling the physical tension or that urge to just click buy or sell immediately,
Okay.
but then critically creating a pause, a little bit of space before reacting.
That sounds crucial.
Right.
So not about becoming some kind of trading robot with no feelings.
Not at all. It's more about developing awareness of the feeling. Spotting his triggers, maybe a sudden price drop sparking that panic feeling, or a quick win tempting him into greed.
And by seeing them, he could.
He could find that calm center again. Keep his rational brain in the driver's seat, making clearer choices even when the market itself was, pure chaos. He learned to navigate through the emotions, not just fight them.
He also seemed to talk quite a bit about patience and discipline, cultivating those.
Yes, definitely. In trading, there's this constant temptation to be doing something, always be in a trade.
Right, action bias.
Exactly. But often the smart move is just waiting, sticking to your plan. Manish admitted he used to chase those quick, small gains a lot.
And meditation helped him resist that.
It helped build up that mental muscle, that fortitude to just sit tight when his strategy said wait, to wait for the really good entry or exit points based on his analysis, not just jump in on an impulse.
You know, in a world that pushes instant gratification, waiting for a specific setup, that takes real control.
It really does. His practice helped him keep that longer-term view, stick to his rules even when the market was kind of whispering temptations in his ear.
That discipline, it's often the key difference, isn't it, between consistent results and just randomness.
Absolutely. Which naturally flows right into better risk management.
Makes sense. If you're emotional, you're probably making riskier bets.
Precisely. Manish found that the calmness he got from meditation let him look at risks more objectively, based on his plan, his rules, not just reacting out of fear when things dipped or getting cocky and reckless after a few wins.
That objectivity, especially around risk, that's kind of the foundation for survival in trading, right? Not blowing up your account.
It's everything. His story really highlights how easily emotions can just trash even the best laid risk management plan you have on paper.
Being able to actually stick to that stop loss order or keep your position size right even when your heart's pounding.
That became possible for him, he says, because of this practice. It gave him that emotional buffer.
And then the last big piece he mentions, which feels so important for anyone trying to make a career out of this, is building resilience.
Ah, yes. Because, let's face it, losses are part of the game. They're unavoidable.
Totally. It's how you deal with them.
Exactly. And Manish learned to see losses differently, not as like personal failures to beat himself up over,
But more
like data points, unemotional information, opportunities to figure out what went wrong, tweak the approach, and learn.
that mental shift sounds like a real game changer.
It is. That kind of resilience lets you bounce back from the hits, adapt, improve instead of getting discouraged, or worse, making impulsive revenge trades to try and win it back fast.
It keeps you learning, keeps you in the game for the long run.
So those are the big impacts he felt. But the source material, thankfully, doesn't just stop there. It gives some really practical, actionable tips, too.
Which is good because, let's be honest, the idea of finding Zen while staring at 5 flashing market screens, it doesn't immediately compute for everyone.
Right, it sounds a bit abstract, but he gets specific, like suggesting you start small.
Okay.
For a trader, juggling everything, this isn't about needing, like, an hour on a meditation cushion every day, maybe just 5 or 10 minutes.
Even just 5 minutes maybe before the market opens. That could really set a different tone for the day, couldn't it? Compared to just diving straight into the chaos.
Definitely. He also found having a dedicated space helped. Doesn't have to be fancy, just a specific chair maybe in a quiet corner away from the actual trading desk.
Like a little anchor point for the practice.
Yeah, it trains your brain, okay, this spot is for calming down.
And for people totally new to this.
He suggests using guided meditations. There are tons of apps, online resources. He found that having a voice guiding him made it way easier to get started and stick with it.
Takes the guesswork out of, okay, what am I supposed to be doing next?
Exactly. Provides a bit of structure when you're unsure how to just sit. Makes it less intimidating.
Simple breathing exercises too, right? You mentioned those.
Oh, yeah. Huge. Just taking, say, 3 slow, deliberate breaths when you feel that stress rising, or maybe right before you place a trade or after a big market swing.
Something you can do right there at the desk almost instantly.
Yep, an immediate tool to kind of interrupt that stress response, get a bit of clarity back before you react. Very practical.
And the final tip he really seemed to hammer home was making it routine. Consistency.
Yes, building it into the daily schedule, whether that's first thing in the morning or a quick reset midday, or maybe using it after the market closes to reflect and wind down.
That consistency is what turned it from just trying something occasionally into a real practice that built up benefits over time.
Totally. Like building any skill, mental or physical, it compounds. You build that focus muscle, that resilience muscle, bit by bit.
So listening to Manish's account, it really makes a strong case that this mindfulness stuff, for him, it went way beyond just feeling a bit calmer.
Oh, absolutely. It became a core part of his actual trading strategy, a powerful ally.
Helping him not just chase profits, but actually build a more sustainable and maybe even fulfilling career in what's undeniably a really tough, high-stress field.
His journey, as laid out in this source, really argues that working on these internal skills, the psychological side is just as vital, maybe even more vital, than just focusing on external charts or indicators.
It's about training the trader, not just analyzing the trade.
Well put. Yeah.
So, wrapping this up, what's the main thing for you, the listener, to take away from all this?
I think the core message from Manish's experience is pretty compelling. Meditation, mindfulness, it isn't just, a relaxation technique. It's a serious psychological asset for anyone navigating complex, demanding environments, like the financial market.
Right. Cultivating that mental clarity, that emotional resilience, that ability to focus, it clearly had a real tangible impact on his trading and his career satisfaction too. So, the thought this leaves us with is, if these specific mental skills you can cultivate through practices like meditation, are so helpful in a field like trading, which is incredibly high pressure, data heavy, emotionally charged, where clear thinking and emotional control are just non-negotiable. Well, what does that suggest about how valuable those same skills could be in your own life?
Yeah, regardless of whether you trade stocks or not, maybe it's managing a tough project at work or dealing with unexpected personal stress or making big life decisions.
Or even just trying to be a bit more present day to day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The force suggests that embracing mindfulness opened the door to a more successful and fulfilling trading career for Manish. So the final thought, maybe, is this. How could embracing similar practices help unlock potential, or maybe just more fulfillment, in the parts of your life that demand focus, calm, and resilience?
Definitely something worth thinking about.